What's up, dude?
There he is. What's going on?
How you doing, buddy? What hat is that?
Agency. Yeah. We in a soundproof room. What you got going on there?
No, it's just my office, home office.
Okay. All right. So,
Where are you at? You got
so,
a nice little apartment down there or something?
uh, like a VRBO. So, yeah. Uh, Actually not bad. We like kind of just bounce around year to year. Um, some guys stay at the beach, but traffic is brutal. So,
Yeah.
um, a lot of guys try to stay like, I'd say majority of guys are like 10, 15 minutes from the field. So, but you a podcast guy now.
This was just something fun. I mean, we're both mostly doing like
Yeah,
Baltimore sports and stuff. And we were like, all
got
right,
it.
couple buddies, and my brother usually is on here too, but he's working tonight.
What is a
So we're
douche?
just like, yeah. So we're like, you know what? If anything, it'll just be a good time hanging
Yeah,
out,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
bullshitting.
Let me make a drink real quick. Brooks, how you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, what about you? Hey,
Great. I got some kind of like stomach bug. I got whatever Tiger has. I've been like throwing up and shitting myself all day. I got like I got aches and everything else.
Tiger.
At least he's not hurt. At least it was just sickness.
Yeah. Still, it seems like it's something every tournament.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be. He's playing on one leg and half a back and no knees.
Yeah,
Guy should be freaking dead by now.
Holy shit, that
yeah.
guy. Well, fuck it. Brooks got a little White House bottle of Woodford today. It's got like a emblem on it. You can't even see that shit.
Oh, yeah, I
Secret.
can see it. How'd you get it from like,
Dan McManus, Secret Service guy, just retired.
see if Drew's joining us tonight? You remember Drew, don't you, Tim? My buddy Drew.
Maybe probably cross paths somewhere.
Yeah.
Tim, you got a baby. By the way, Tim, I'm Brian, by the way, man. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You got a baby, right?
I got I got two boys.
Two
So I got
boys?
three and one.
What are their names?
Yeah. Everett and Graham.
Cool.
So we are in the thick of it.
And there's,
They're
Yeah,
all staying down there with you?
yeah.
yeah. They're with me, and then spring training's the best schedule I would say for the season. Um, if you're not pitching, you're usually home by like 2. But I mean, the mornings start pretty early. Like I'm usually out of the house like by 6:30, and then home by 2. So a lot of the times it's better for families for spring training. Plus the weather's nice, and but during the season they'll kind of bounce back and forth.
Are you guys still in Dunedin?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They just built a new stadium, or they renovated the whole stadium like maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Okay.
They did, and then they're completing. It was a 2-part project in Toronto to do renovations. They gutted pretty much the entire inside, and it was like 2 phases. Phase 1 was last year, and then phase 2 will be done this year for us.
Cool.
So it'll be sweet. It'll be a sweet place.
Yeah, because I mean, when we were down there, however many years ago it was, 6, 7 years ago, it was like going to fucking Cuba. It was like cinder blocks and cage fencing. That's the first time
Oh,
I saw you pitching. I think you had just come up or just got the invite to spring training
yeah.
um, a while back. Our buddy Chris Merrick, who played baseball at St. Paul or St. Paul's, St. Louis
St.
University.
Louis.
St. Louis University. And we saw you in the pen. We stayed for 3 pitched outs because the ballpark was such shit.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. They, it's a better venue now. They created like a concourse so you can walk all the way around the stadium. Like 3 years ago, it was just pretty much down the lines and behind the plate. Like you couldn't get to the bullpen or you couldn't see anybody.
Good.
So now though, it's better. It's better right now.
Well, I'm
So
sure.
yeah, they kind of did like Philly has like that tiki bar in left field. So they
Okay.
kind of like did something similar, but in right center in Dunedin where it like overlooks our bullpen. So you'll get some spring breakers and stuff every once in a while, but
My real question is Bowser's still there?
yes, yeah, yeah, it's still there. And they still offer, I think it's if you park, you get a free drink, something like that. Like that's how they try to get you.
I know we went with your ticket, you got like 2 free Rolling Rocks or 2 Rolling Rock pounds.
Yeah,
For your ticket to the game.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
And now it's like, oh, if you spend $20 and park with us, you get like a free drink. Yeah, yeah.
I remember the bathroom was so disgusting that I didn't even want to. I lost the urge to piss. Like I was like, I'm not peeing here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's there, and then there's another one that's like similar. It's called Skips, like right on the corner downtown Bunny, and they're both very like very divey like bars, like places that you could go in for a drink, but other than that, I wouldn't like want to stay too long.
Fair enough. What's he texting us right now? Because I'm seeing my phone blow up here.
Like, are you joining? He said not working. I resent him the link again. He goes, "Is the meeting ID right? I'm on Zoom." I said, "Just click the link. It'll just launch." What are you?
An ass clown.
How does this guy have a professional career and not know how to use Zoom?
You should sell like isotoners. I don't know how he sells finance.
How's everything back in PA? Jeez. Jesse
with me?
was trying to call me at 11 o'clock. And I was like, dude, I'm sleeping. When you guys were all
Yeah.
together.
Oh yeah. That was fun. I guess Bob's in-laws have a place in the Poconos, so we ran it for a weekend and just went up there. But having a kid has not slowed him down. No, it was fun, and then Mark's having a kid here in a couple months.
I saw that.
And then Miles hit me up maybe a month ago because I guess the new company he works for does stuff in MLB. And I think the Blue Jays are one of the few teams that doesn't use like the product that he works for. So he wanted to see if because we got a new travel guy, and I think that's where it's most useful is in like setting up travel and scheduling travel. So I think he was hoping that I could get in with the travel guy. It's just like the new travel guy basically he was the old media guy, and now he just gets thrown into this like role where being the travel coordinator for Toronto is just miserable because not only are you dealing with travel, but you're dealing with the border and customs as well.
Yeah.
So it's like double the work than usual. And he's just kind of like learning on the job. So I'm sure I'll give him like another week, but I'm sure he's pretty overwhelmed. But
Do you become a citizen after a certain amount of time?
no.
I don't know how
You
that
just you get like we get a tax ID, like a Canadian social security number, essentially.
Yeah.
Because we get taxed like everywhere. Everywhere we play, we pay taxes.
Mhm.
Like our W-2s are a nightmare. So, but no, that's the only thing I know of is you get your work permit and then you get a tax ID that gets you to pay taxes.
I guess to play 80, you're gonna play 82 games. You're gonna play 81 games.
81 games.
81 games,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna play 81 games all over the goddamn country in the US.
Yeah.
I guess that's why it makes sense why people go to Texas and Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one guy on our team. He's like, I've hit the 3 top tax places in MLB. He's like, I was in Oakland, then I was in New York with the Mets, and now I'm here. It's like the top 3 places that you get taxed. No, Texas is popular because of that. Florida, obviously. and Seattle. Like people sign in Seattle for that as well. The only thing with Seattle is like you get stuck. Like that's the furthest travel you're gonna have.
Is Drew coming on as fucking Mr. President? What a fucking asshat.
Drew, you don't get to come on as Mr. President when you can't figure out how to use Zoom.
It is. I mean, it is President's Day. I wanted to celebrate myself. Sorry, guys. I was on Teams.
I respect Kenny Powers jersey.
Sorry, I was on Teams. I do love the
I had a
background
timeless
Kenny
artist
Powers.
seduction behind me earlier today on our first one. So the Kenny Powers one trumps that for sure.
And Abe Lincoln.
Yeah.
Again, President's Day. Here for the calls.
Awesome.
Big time Timmy Jim. What's up, man? It's been a while.
Something real. Yeah.
Where's Dusty?
Working.
Yeah.
Somebody's
All right,
got that.
Dustless podcast here then.
Brooks, do you want to start this off?
Sure. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture podcast. I don't know if Tim knows who Gary Williams is, but he's the old Maryland coach, basketball coach. Today we got Tim Mayza on, one of my old college teammates. Now pitches for the Toronto Blue Jays. So we're gonna have him in for the start of spring training as a celebratory start of spring training officially, that we can actually talk to somebody who's going through it and on everything. So Brian, I'll let you take away a couple. I mean, we already wasted a couple good questions, but I'll let you take away the first couple.
Well, actually, I mean, I don't really know Tim like you. Well, I don't know Tim.
Or if
like
Tim,
you
yeah,
guys
if
do.
you want to give us a little background,
Yeah.
where are you from? Where'd you go to
yeah.
high school?
Got a couple personality questions after Tim introduces himself. So we're gonna put Tim on the spot. I'm not giving him any preface to these questions.
Yeah, for sure. So, as Brooks mentioned, Tim Mayza, current relief pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. Born and raised in Pennsylvania. Still live there. Grew up about an hour northeast of Philadelphia. After college, stayed in the Lancaster area. I actually went to college at Millersville with Brooks, and then was drafted in 2013. Debuted in 2017. And the rest is kind of history. Still doing it. Still slinging it. So fortunate to do that. And it's pretty awesome. So we're about to get rolling. First full team workouts are tomorrow. So pitchers and catchers reported about a week ago, and then first full squad workout tomorrow. So the excitement begins, and games start at the end of the week. So it's getting close, and it'll be fun.
Well, Tim, I want to say first off, man, thank you for saying Lancaster the appropriate way, because my girlfriend says Lancaster, and it's one fucking word.
Yeah.
Personality questions. Let's get this started. What's your favorite form of potato?
Favorite form of potato?
Yeah.
I'll be specific, like sweet potato fries.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if I'm at a place and they serve sweet potato fries, that's usually what I'm getting.
Are we getting the dipping sauce with it? The sweet dipping sauce?
No, just give me the fries and I'll be good.
But I'm gonna go a little more specific. Is it regular fries or you want waffle fries? I mean,
There's a barbecue spot down here that serves them waffle fries, and it's a sweet potato waffle fry, and those things
Yeah.
are delicious. So yeah, we could get specific. I'll go waffle fry if I had to have a choice.
Perfect. All right, good. Because I mean, I don't know you. We're meeting for the first time, but Drew, myself, and Brooks know each other really well, along with Dusty when he's normally on here. So we want to get everyone acclimated to you. Favorite chain restaurant that doesn't have a drive-through?
That doesn't have a drive-through. Oh,
We're talking like
I'm trying-
Applebee's, something like that.
Yeah, like an Applebee's. Like mine would be Texas Roadhouse.
okay, all right.
Mhm.
See, when I think of like those places, it's like a Panera Bread.
Yeah, it's fine.
So yeah, we'll go with Panera Bread. I know it's not like your sit down, but I consider it like somewhat fast food. And I don't know. I think some now may have drive-throughs. I don't know, but
There's a
I think some
couple.
might have drive.
Tim's a big
Yeah, right.
breakfast guy. You probably
I
have a good
am.
breakfast chain.
I am. Uh, no, no. Um, just like your standard like breakfast sandwich. I mean, to be honest, Baltimore is my favorite spot to visit when it comes to breakfast spots.
Oh, where you going?
Where you going?
So Miss Shirley's is a go-to.
Yeah.
It's down
What's going on?
by the harbor there. Yeah, because we stay on the harbor, so Miss Shirley's is down there. Blue Moon Cafe is a popular one.
Awesome.
For
Blue Moon's
guys.
the spot. That's my spot.
Yeah,
That's my favorite.
yeah,
It's down in
yeah.
Felton.
So
Great spot.
yeah, so we always hit up those two spots, and then I think there's like a cafe called I believe it's called like Ovenberg Cafe. It's like a small, just like hole in the wall that I like ran into one day just wandering around. Um,
That might be
I
in
think that's what it's called though.
Federal Hill, maybe.
I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
But
that one.
yeah, but no, Blue Moon Cafe is always like a hey, we're in town, we're hitting that up probably the first day, second day, Miss Shirley's, and then for a day game, if I'm feeling like walking around, I'll hit up the Ovenberg Cafe and get a coffee and maybe a scone, and then get to the bus.
You know what? I think that's in Federal Hill. I think that's on Charles Street or Light Street. Boys, I think I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's
I
what
think it
I.
actually is spelled BRD instead of actual BIRD. Either way, those are personality questions. Does Kevin Gossman still eat donuts every day?
No, no. If they're, I haven't seen them. I mean, if they're there, maybe I mean, if they're there, probably, but I haven't seen them like bring donuts in every day and eat them. Um, Not definitely not like an abnormal amount where I'm like, man, this guy just crushes donuts. So I would say no. I don't know if that was something he did in the past, and now he's kind of like. I mean, majority of our games are night games, so maybe he has a donut in the morning at his place, and I just don't know it. But yeah,
That was his MO at LSU. He would always eat powdered donut holes or like good Munchkins or whatever. Was eat powdered donut. So
He did that with the O's too in his first couple of years. I knew that was definitely a thing.
maybe somebody sat him down and said, "Hey, you got to chill on the powdered donuts."
Well, somebody
Yeah,
probably
just
sat him
stop.
down. Was like, you need to gain some weight, so start eating these freaking powdered
Yeah.
donuts. He was like a stick when he first came with
Yeah.
the Orioles.
all right, we'll get the baseball now that we got this side of the way.
Yeah.
What's your welcome to the show moment? Like, holy shit, I'm in the major leagues.
Yeah. Um, so I got super lucky in my first road trip because it was to Wrigley, and we haven't, that was in 17, and we haven't been back yet, and we'll be back again this year. So, I got to go there as like my first road trip. Um, and yeah, that I got my welcome to the show when Javi Baez hit a home run that I think was close to just leaving the stadium, and I was like, oh man, well, can't get away with these pitchings to some of these guys. And because it was like a Saturday afternoon game, the place just erupted. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess the fans like me here. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. When I think of welcome, I think it's kind of like, okay, well, here you go, kid. Like, yeah, a little humbling moment. So that was it.
Would you rather give up a home run that just leaves the yard or goes out of the park?
Um, I think the one that just leaves. Because maybe I'll feel better about myself, like, like, he, like, just got that out, but yeah.
Have you had one that you didn't turn around on? Like you just knew it. You're like, fuck it. It's over. It's gone.
Um, Judge's homer when, like, was it 60 or 61 that I gave up?
Yes.
The one that tied the record, that one was no doubt. I was like, "Okay, yep, that's it." Um,
I
and
didn't
then
even
I gave up a
I almost texted you after that, and I was like, I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, right, he's gonna be a part of history forever.
Part of
But
the
I was like,
history. Yeah.
he doesn't want to be a part of that part of history. I was like, I'm gonna let that one. I'm gonna leave that one
Yeah.
alone.
I think I must have actually texted the baseball group chat that we're all on to him and
Yeah.
was like, do I text him or do I not text him? Like, leave him alone. Like, leave the man alone.
I was sitting there for like the next week because it was towards the end of the season. I'm like, somebody please just do it. Yes, just
Somebody
serve it
acknowledge
up.
it.
And then like the guy who gave up the next one, he was like a former teammate of mine. Like we played together in rookie ball. So that's a tough rookie ball team there. Like you give up the game, the tying, and then the historic one. But no, I was talking to people and they'd be like, "Yeah, we were watching Grey's Anatomy, and in the lower right hand corner, whenever he came up, so we saw it." I'm like, "If you're not even paying attention, like I don't need these channels having Grey's Anatomy and then split screen it with
Yeah.
Judge at bat."
They
Yeah.
just made you real famous on.
Your name on every bottom line on every channel.
My last question I have for Tim that's baseball oriented that I had already pre-written down. What was Brooks's worst pitch, Tim, in college? What
All
was
of them.
the pitch?
According to John Sheehan, our coach, all of them.
Yeah.
His
I love
worst
the
pitch,
John.
like sinker. I don't even know what pitches Brooks had in the arsenal, but what was his worst one?
Um,
A ball.
yeah.
I was
Brooks-
notorious for like walking hitters and making shit harder on myself than it needed to be, for sure.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, we're going back a ways.
Brooks, what was in your
No.
arsenal? What did you have? What did you have? I mean,
Like I remember
Um,
Brooks had like a kind of a bigger breaking ball, right?
Yeah, so I had like 4-seam, 2-seam. My 4-seam would cut. 2-seam would, God knows what it would do. It's supposed to
It
tail
would go over the fence.
supposed to tail for
Yeah.
me, but sometimes I'd just like come over top of it too much and it would cut right down the fucking dick. And then change up, slider, curveball. Slider
Yeah.
was more my out pitch most
I
of the
remember
time.
slider being your best pitch, definitely.
Yeah.
Just depending on what was working that day.
I
I
remember
mean, what was it? Brooks, like he went on a scoreless streak, right? Like, didn't you hold that record for a little
For a
bit?
couple weeks.
Sorry.
I had the scoreless innings streak, like consecutive scoreless innings, and then I gave it up, and then the guy who has been injured with Tommy John for like a year and a half comes out and like continued from 2 years ago and breaks it like a week later. It
Yeah.
was short lived, and then Mayza got to beat all my other ones.
Brooks also has the record for most runs given up in a single inning in high school at
Pretty
Aptos.
Pretty close.
What was it, like 3 or 4 home runs? I definitely remember.
One was a grand slam.
It was almost a home run cycle in one inning. They would, as the guys were running,
They hung me out to dry on that one.
yeah, as the guys were running the bases, they would play U2's "The Streets Have No Name." And I'm pretty sure they got through the song.
Like a 7-minute song. California teams are no joke, guys.
oh,
Yeah, I got a video that I want to show of Tim. Honestly,
Perfect.
it's fucking awesome. Where
To say
is
Tim's heart skipped a beat for a second.
I know.
nothing
What-
bad? Nothing
You wearing
bad.
clothes?
And I'm like, where are we going with that?
Oh, yeah. Just no videos of me. That's my deal here.
Nothing bad, I promise. Gonna let me. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is Tim's little boy Everett.
Oh,
Oh,
He got to throw out
Yeah.
the first pitch last year, and
that's awesome.
him and like the other kid came out, one of the other bullpen guys, and Everett was like, the other kid goes like halfway to a quarter out, and Everett's like, no, I'm going all the way to the freaking mound, and Tim's like, no, you got to come back.
Yeah. He kind of broke the internet with this, but
Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Everett's like, I'm doing it like daddy does.
That's great.
Yep.
Tim, how was with all the Otani rumors that were happening over
Yeah.
off season? How did the team or some of your teammates, did you guys talk about that? Were there any internal organizational conversations that were had? I don't know how involved you are.
Um, yeah, it was kind of funny because not
Mhm.
funny. I mean, we were tracking it, but there was a handful of us together when all that stuff was going down. We were at Alex Manoah's wedding, kind of all together, and we are like, oh man, like apparently Otani's on a jet to Toronto, or like Otani. Then we knew he kind of took a visit to Dunedin, um, but no, I mean, we were following it and there was definitely a buzz about it. I don't know how close. It's hard to tell, like, how close the Jays were. Like, I like to think that we were competitive in the race and in the run to get him. You just don't know, like, what was going through his mind, or kind of was he playing the game of trying to get somebody to bid higher? I don't know. And it's hard to tell, but uh it was exciting there for those couple days that you thought you were getting him. But there's been zero talk down here at spring of him. Um, just you kind of go on and no Otani talk anymore. There was definitely a lot for those 2 days that there was some buzz that we might get him, but none right now at camp. It's kind of just, focusing, on the day to day. And, in spring training, you're just so busy that you're worried about getting your work in and focus on getting ready for the season, that you don't really have a whole lot of time for the outside distractions of, oh, well, we didn't get Otani, so what are we going to do this year? It's like, hey, how are we going to compete, and how are we going to win as many games as possible?
Sure.
Have you faced him yet?
Yeah, yeah. Um, he got me. I gave a homer to him, but I got him out a few times. Um, but yeah, he got me once, and then the other times I got brought in. I got saved against him. I got brought in bases loaded, tying run on third, and got him to ground out. So that was pretty cool. I was fired up
Yeah,
about that.
I remember that. That dude's gonna get everybody at some point. It seems like.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's something you're going to tell your grandkids about that. That's it's still pretty cool.
yeah. At least he got me. Oppo made him beat me in the other way. So, but that team is incredible. Like, when you think of having Trout and him on the same team, and I've always said that if Otani is even above average at both, pitching and hitting, like, he's the MVP every year. There's nobody like him, like, who can do both at that kind of level.
It almost seems, and you please anybody disagree with me. It almost seems like he's so good, we're going to get used and comfortable to him being that good that we're not going to give him the MVP coming forward because we want a different
Hmm.
story, want a different narrative. Name that person that will take over that role because
I think
he's good.
I think the MLB wants him to be the MVP every year. I mean, I think they'll go out of their way just to try to give it to him, just because he grows the game. I mean, he's brought in so much revenue from over in Asia. Like, it's like he's his own business, and it's. I mean, the Dodgers knew what they were doing. They're buying a business at this point. Um, he's gonna bring so much revenue to that team just by him being on the team. So
And that was
I
one of the
think,
reasons that I think Toronto was really in the race is that Toronto, being owned by the Rogers Company Corporation LLC, whatever the hell they are, they wanted to get into the Asian market, and he would have been their like forward facing person. So his contract basically would have been paid off, and I think they're a communications company, and you know them selling whatever communications devices they sell.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess if there's a year for him not to win the MVP, and he might still do it just hitting, it would be this year, because I don't know how much he
yeah.
can pitch. Um,
No, I think they said he's
but
not.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
It sounds like he has a microphone on his fucking bat when he hits the ball. It's that loud. It's a different sound. And I mean, Tim, obviously you're right there. Um, it just seems like a different noise.
yeah, and yeah, he's just he's just all around great. He's a great player. And you also gotta acknowledge is like if he hits it on the ground, he might be it out. Like he just like that fast as well that, a chopper to the infield, he might beat out for a single. Which I guess is like best case scenario when you consider the other possibilities. But he's just one of a kind, definitely, definitely unique. And I guess, everybody kind of needs to appreciate it, because who knows if there's ever going to be another one like him. But yeah, definitely, definitely a special player.
What do you think? I mean, do you think this is the evolution of the game where you're going to have now, I mean, you're the best player on your high school team is the shortstop and the best pitcher.
Hmm.
You think you're going to see this now where you're going to have hitters and pitchers, yeah, like an Otani, where you have someone that does both things?
I don't know if it's because there's been guys who have tried to do both, and they just like I don't know if they're not giving the shot or it's just like, hey, this is you're pretty average at both. Let's choose one and become above average. Uh,
Yeah, kind of
but
like
I think
switch
like
hitting. They're like, yeah, maybe you should stop switch hitting. Let's focus on hitting whatever's top.
yeah, yeah, because I think the Rays drafted a guy who was a 2-way, and he like a while ago, and he's I think become just a pitcher now. Um, so yeah, I don't think I think this is definitely unique. I don't see this being like a norm that you see it all the time. I think he's just that special of a player that he can do both. I don't see it. I don't see it becoming a norm. Or I definitely don't know if you see a guy who can do both at his level. That's for sure.
I mean, I remember Mad Bomb. Mad Bomb was sitting, Madison Bumgarner, was I think he hit like 6 home runs in 1 year with like 100, like maybe like 80 at bats or something like that. Something stupid.
Yeah, like Mike Hampton had that 1 year where he had like 10, I think.
Who would want a pitcher home run derby right now? If you take Otani out of it, probably out of
I don't know. Like I hear stories of Greinke. Like I guess Greinke was a really good shortstop. I don't know how he would be as a hitter, but I hear like athleticism wise that he could play shortstop in pro ball and be fine and be good. Um, so but I don't know. Like pitchers just don't hit anymore.
Yeah.
You like this DH, like nobody hits, so you just wouldn't even know. And
I was going to ask, when was the last time you took BP?
I bunted in like 2018. Like I just took a bunting practice because we were going to play a national league team. So they're like, "Hey, you might need to bunt." I'm like, okay.
He's like,
Uh,
nah, I'm a one inning guy.
But actual BP, not since college.
Pitchers beeps.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I wanted to pivot a little bit and see what you. I don't think I've ever asked you this. Like, how were how was the minors like after you got drafted? Um, and then I guess you spent like 3.5, 4 years down there. Um, how did that
Yeah.
all go? I mean, they just basically said, "Hey, here's your signing bonus. Be down at rookie ball for spring training or something like that, and or the developmental league, and we'll go from there."
Yeah. So I got drafted in June, and a week after that, flew down to Florida, um, and was in the GCL, and then got promoted to Bluefield to finish the year for maybe the last like 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. Um, I mean, my first 2 years of pro ball were just horrible, like performance wise, like just awful. Um, I had a 7 through 2 years of pro ball. Like the transition was just awful. Um, and I don't know if it was a whole lot about stuff. I think it was more about, trust. Um, and I don't know if I felt like physically I was prepared, but I don't know if mentally I was prepared to go to the pro game and experience like those guys. And um, so first 2 years were like just getting your butt whooped really, and I actually left after my second season, and they're like, "Hey, man, like spring training, like you got to show us something, or you're kind of on the chopping block. Like this, you've had 2 really rough years, and it just can't go on." So, kind of revamp some things, delivery wise, stuff wise, and then came in just like it was kind of like do or die. So I just let it rip for all of spring training. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down just seeing how hard I could throw, basically, and it kind of worked out. Uh, and
That's when you
so went
developed
to
you developed a two seamer then, right?
no, the two seam didn't come until I got up to the big leagues. So I was 4 seaming. The slider was what came along like really good in 2015.
I was gonna
Um,
ask you about that because me and you worked on that for a while in college, trying to figure out some kind of breaking ball besides a changeup.
yeah, I'm
Just
still working on a breaking ball, but
How often are you playing with grips and tweaking your stuff? Or are you trying to hone in on what you have? Or you just constantly kind of playing around with
yeah, it's I am what I am right now, and it's more so being able to locate it, getting consistent shape, consistent location. Like I'll evolve and use certain pitches in different locations, but um, in terms of adding a pitch, I would have to be really convinced that it was going to be something that would match my arsenal and really open up other opportunities for me to buy in on a wholesale like new pitch change or something like that. I don't mind tinkering and catch and stuff, but right now it's more so I am what I am, and it's like how can we now nail down everything and be able to locate 2 pitches at any point in different locations. Um, so that's kind of where we are now. But back then I was just a 4 seam. I was just a 4 seam slider guy. I mean, kind of worked my way up the minors and 15 wins and low, and then 16 high A, double A, and then back down to high A to finish season, and then 17 double A, triple A, and debuted then. But double A was like tough. Like low A and high A, I kind of got away with stuff. I felt a lot like my velo spiked those years, so um, because I think I was able to get away with some more stuff, and then in double A, I struggled pretty good, and in 17, I was in somewhat of a closer's role, which I don't know if I was really cut out for at that point. Um, and so there was like back and forth between like pitching earlier in games, and then there was sometimes I would try to come in close games, and uh, I didn't have to do that in AAA. I kind of just like took off then. Uh, but the two seam came into play in 2019, just because that's when tech kind of like evolved too, like all the technology in baseball now with you could throw a pitch, turn around, and know exactly how it moved in the exact location. Like you didn't have that in 2017 or
you're just asking your
prior to
catcher.
that. Yeah, like hey, did it do anything or where was it? So now you actually have proof. Um, and in 19, I had proof that the 4 seam just was not getting positive results like I needed to. And so I got up, and then I had to adapt to the game in the major leagues. And part of that was figuring out a fastball that had some movement that I could generate some more weak contact and swing and miss. And just started throwing a 2 seam one day, and was felt like from visually when I was throwing it, I was like, oh, that's got some good action. Let's see what it can do. And um, started just throwing an arm side, and now it's evolved to I think surgery. I was able to really hone in on my delivery, my stuff, and being able to locate on both sides because the rehab process is so tedious and so long that you have so much time to dive in and figure out what makes you good and how to improve on what you already have.
Yeah, and so like a
I
little
have a
timeline for Tim. Like I think Tim, when he came in as a freshman when we were in college, he was throwing like what the 82. By the time the season came around, Tim's probably averaging like 90, 91, somewhere around there. And then I think my senior year, your sophomore year, you were consistently low to mid 90s or something like that. And then I think after you got drafted, you said when you had that spike, you were getting it running it up to like 99, I think, or something like that. No, 100.
Uh, I hit I hit 8. That's the highest I've gotten to. But when I got the spike, I was like 4 to 6 hitting sevens. Um, And so eight's my top. But yeah, it's kind of been a progression.
Do you feel after the
Similar in
surgery
like
you've
year
dropped
wise.
off a little bit or no?
Um, Maybe a little bit. I think the top end, just I don't get to the top end as much. And I also look back and I'm just like throwing like a lot more appearances, where I feel sometimes in those days when and the velo sometimes throughout the season will fluctuate, where I'll be days where I'll be 94, 96, and then there'll be days where I'm like 91, 93, hitting 94, and I just feel like it kind of fluctuates based off workload, um, how many innings you've thrown, how many appearances you've had, uh, and kind of other like stuff like that. But in the minors, you're on a pretty strict schedule where you're throwing maybe once every 3 days, so you get all this time to recover. And then when you just go out, it's kind of like you're fully recovered and you feel good. Where, um, you know, when I got called up, that was probably one of the bigger adjustments is just like how to modify workload so I'm prepared to pitch every night. Because in the minors, you have other guys and everybody's getting innings and everybody's getting work, and sometimes it's not really a whole lot about wins and losses, even though everybody wants to win. In the minors, it's more like, okay, we got to get this guy in for development reasons, and he's working on X pitch, and he has to throw 50% of the time. So the results may not look great.
That makes total sense. I got a question. Might be a two-part question. How much do you focus on analytics, and how much do other players that you talk to focus on analytics, and do you enjoy them? It's a three-parter right there.
Yeah, yeah. It depends who you talk to. Um, I enjoy kind of taking the dive in, and um, I'll do scouting reports kind of on my own, day one of every series, and just I dive into the analytics in that sense. I'm just looking at how to attack guys and certain where guys' weaknesses are compared to like, okay, if you throw this pitch, these are his exit velos there. If you throw this pitch, he swings and misses this percent of the time. Uh, right now in spring, I probably use them the most for myself, from a pitch design standpoint. In bullpens, we have the TrackMan up, so I'm getting instant feedback on what shapes of pitches are and where the location is, and you're kind of working with catchers on where to set up, in order to land certain pitches and get certain pitches in those areas and those spots that you want to hit. So I use it a lot in spring. The younger guys use it a lot more than the older guys. But you'll get some older guys and they're like, yeah, I know when it's good. Like I can see when it's good. I can see when I hit a spot. I think the new age guys, it's all about stuff. And you're almost out stuffing guys. So you're trying to, there's a lot of just like turn around. All right, what were the numbers on that throw? Instead of kind of getting in a rhythm of a bullpen and then going from there, and then using, a handful of pitches, throw 5 pitches, turn around, see what it's doing, and then throw another 5. So the older guys, the guys who, I guess the seasoned vets in the group don't rely on it as much because I think they have trust in what they're doing and they know what makes them successful. Whereas some of the younger guys, and I was there too, are trying to figure out like, is this pitch good based off ball data and based off of the way it's moving, versus other pitches.
That's good. That's good to hear because, you hear everything on TV about some people like it, some people hate it. Now it's the old school guys don't like some of the new shit.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Pardon me for being a novice on this one, but how did the pitch clock affect you? Given I don't believe you dealt with it in the minors. Maybe you did, and I'm just dumb here. But did you deal with it in the minors? And if so, or if you didn't, how did it affect you in the major leagues?
Yeah, I used it. So they were in an experimental phase when I was in high A. So, but it wasn't like enforced until the second half of the season. I think it was like, it was there and you were aware of it, but the umpire wasn't calling you for being late on the pitch clock.
Well,
Uh, the first 2 to 3 appearances in spring last year were kind of it took to get used to the clock and like, okay, how much time do I have? And you were almost caught like speed pitching, like you had more time than what you thought you had. A lot of guys felt. But once you got into the rhythm of things, and once you got into just kind of you know it's there, and you know where all the clocks are located, so you can look. It really didn't matter a whole lot when the season rolled around. All the kinks were kind of figured out in spring training, and so yeah. But this year, I think it's down like 2 more seconds. I think they cut.
Okay.
So we'll see what the game speed's like. But yeah, I mean, they're making rule
I like it a
changes,
lot.
and yeah, I think the pitch clock is the one thing that guys are like, yeah, it's good. Like we don't mind the pitch clock. Some of the other stuff like no shifts. I'm a little biased to it being left-handed. Um,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so a lefty can't hit the ball the other way, so we'll just make a rule that opens up a hole on the right side of the infield. Um, so then, but I mean, I think it's promoting more action. You got to make decisions quicker, and I think that's where it comes into play. Like you're calling pitches quick. I don't. If it weren't for the pitch calm and being able to communicate with pressing buttons and me hearing it and having to do the traditional sign system, I don't think the clock would be as effective. But having the pitch calm, it speeds it up because he can call the pitch as soon as he throws the ball back to me, I'm getting the pitch in the air and we're going. So if it weren't for pitch calm, the pitch clock I don't think would be as successful as it has been and as popular.
And as a lefty, how do the new like speed up rules affect how you're throwing over? Is it like predetermined? You're going to throw over X pitch, or you just kind of go off feel?
Uh, yeah, so you only get 3, they call them 3 disengagements. So if you step off, that's 1. If you pick off, that's 2. And now you can't step off or pick off without getting them out, or they get second base or whatever base they're at, they advance. Uh, a lot of it is, um, some of it's based off feel. Some of it comes from the bench. But you have to control the running game just kind of on your own. It's a point of emphasis right now. In our bullpens, we're mixing in slide steps, we're mixing in holds. So we like to emphasize that just because the game is fast and they are promoting stolen bases a lot more. With some of they're going to put an emphasis on guys blocking the base, and this year. So I think that'll promote guys to run even more. Uh,
I
so
think you
we'll
guys are
see.
probably still trying to figure it out too, like what the game is inside of that. I would assume because I still haven't figured it out yet. To figure out what the right system is for that. Like Drew was saying.
Definitely
Yeah,
an
it's
advantage to the
just
runner. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's just the guys who can already run are going to run more. So it's one of those things. The guys who don't run are still not going to run for the most part, but the guys who have the ability to steal bases are just more valuable because they're going to run and they're going to get a lot of stolen bases.
yeah, or the guys who don't steal as much are going to be able to pick their spot a lot easier. I mean, just because they know either you can't, you either have to, you pretty much have to go home or you have to go over or whatever. After
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but PitchCom? What is it saying? Like, is it just like a vibrate? Like one vibrate is a fastball, 2 vibrates are a curveball, or is it actually like saying something to you?
No, it's pretty much like a default saying. So it's saying the pitch to you,
Okay.
and then yeah, yep.
Have you been in
I
a
actually really
situation
like
where you
it.
can't hear?
Uh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then you're kind of just as you go in, you have the ability to turn it up, turn it down, and then playoffs we had like a device that came down. It
Yeah,
was
I
like
remember
almost like a
that.
small tube that
Mhm.
came down, and then that's supposed to amplify the sound.
Gotcha.
Secrets. You got
But
to love
there's
our
like some
Secret
quiet.
Service agents.
Yeah, some quiet places you gotta worry like, man, is the hitter here? That's
I'm gonna go who would win in a fight, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. or Pablo Sandoval?
I don't know Sandoval. I know Vlad is I mean, he's as nice as they come. So I think Vlad's more of a lover, not a fighter. So I'll probably pick Sandoval. Uh, uh, just because I know Vlad's personality a little better.
Really,
How,
it should be
have
it
have
should
you
be
met his dad?
Vogelbach. It should be Vogelbach.
Oh,
It's his son Vogelbach and versus Panda.
Yeah, but I don't know either of those guys, so I couldn't even give you an accurate.
Have you met Vlad's dad?
Yeah, yeah. On his debut, he came through and I met him. I said hi. Um, there wasn't a whole lot of exchange of words other than that. Uh, but
I don't think he speaks
no,
much English.
yeah. But no, like um, Bichette's dad and Biggio's dads, they've had conversations and they're awesome guys.
Yeah. It's gotta be really cool. I mean, just kind of a comment. It's gotta be really cool just having three guys in your squad that have dads that are like that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And also they come from backgrounds and something that we talked about on previous podcasts is, lineage, with families, that's gotta be so nice. People that know how to and be around the game and how to be a big leaguer. And because they learned it from their fathers, that's gotta be so nice.
Yeah, and you see it, and you talk to some guys, and they're just like, yeah, it's almost like I've been here my whole life, kind of in a clubhouse. Like I was born in a clubhouse, so I know what to do, what not to do in that. And when you don't have that, and you walk into a room, you don't really know how to act, so you just like sit there, and it's like don't speak unless spoken to, and kind of like make sure you're not in anybody's way, and get in as early as possible. That way, you're not in the vet's way, but I think with those 3 guys, they were so comfortable walking to a clubhouse that it was just like another game to them. Like,
Yep.
"Oh, this is where I belong. I was born here." Kind of like it. I understand the clubhouse, do's and don'ts, and so I think for them, you see them in transition. Going climbing up the ladder and getting to the big leagues. It was like they already knew what to expect when they got there. It was just now their moment instead of their dad's.
It's cool.
Going off that, because you're in a much different situation. Like, how long did it take for you to feel comfortable and you to have that feeling in the bigs?
Yeah. Um, when I first got called up, there was a lot. It was just off the heels of 15 and 16 when they were great playoff teams, and I get called up, and they were still in
We
the hunt,
remember.
but
Oh,
not like.
yeah. God damn it. Jose Bautista, mother.
But yeah. So you have those kind of guys in the clubhouse: the Donaldsons, the Martin Batistas, the Encarnaciones.
Yeah.
Um, and you're just kind of like, all right, stay out of their way. Just like do what you need to do and stay out of the way. But um, over time, as you get more time and you would naturally get comfortable. And I think it's with any situation. It's just like I felt the same way kind of in college. That like the guys were great. They made me feel welcome, but there's a little bit of a breaking in period in college too, where you're learning the ropes and you're learning what to do. You're learning what not to do. You're learning how to handle yourself on a day to day. And similar to that, it took a little while to understand the organization and understand, um, what the guys do on a day to day and how to act and how to operate and how to get yourself ready for a game. Because once you get up there, it's about winning, no longer development. It's okay. You got to help us win today. It's not like, oh, go out there and throw your 50% sliders because you develop it. It's no, you got to get outs and you got to help us win every game.
Yeah, and like once you get there too, you're gonna have some of the other guys be like, all right, I mean, here's a new guy, probably trying to keep their job and looking at you like, all right, this guy's here. I mean, with the potential to take my job. So it's gotta be a little bit of animosity there to begin with before you get a little bit more comfortable with each other.
There's a great,
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go for it.
There's a great Blue Jays story that comes from, when, I'm not going to name the person with the Orioles organization who told us this, but he's a friend of ours. When Rafael Odor punched Jose Bautista, our buddy got a phone call, come down to the clubhouse, and he gets a case of Johnny Walker Blue delivered to him by Adam Jones. And he goes, I'm going to mail this to Arlington, Texas to give it to Ruffman Adore because someone did not like Jose Bautista a lot.
Yeah.
Have you seen him without a beard? No, completely different guy. He shaved his
Yeah.
beard.
Let me see if I can find a picture of it. He looks like a child.
That's something.
Yeah.
A whole case of Johnny Walker Blue got mailed to Ruffman Adore from Adam Jones.
And while he's looking that up, Jim, I was going to say, going off your comment, you had good examples. You had things to learn not to do. I mean, you had Derek and Forrest, so you knew exactly what not to do in college.
That senior class that was there my freshman year was just like something. They were awesome. So they knew how to make guys comfortable right away. But yeah.
Do you talk to Chaz often?
Not a whole lot there.
There it is.
There you
It's
go.
almost, it's Sean Foy.
It's a much skinnier version of Sean
It's a
Foy.
skinny Sean Foy. With the ears though. Ears go a little bit.
Who the hell was that?
That's Rugnet
That's
Odor.
Rugi.
You're kidding me.
He's a child.
That's a joke, right?
No, I shaved it. Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully we can have you back a couple more times this year. I
Amen.
don't know. I mean, obviously you're gonna have not a lot of free time traveling a lot, but if you can stop by, we'd love to have you and just talk baseball.
What's your
Yeah.
real quick, what's your contract status? I mean, were you on for another year or two?
Oh,
How
he's
much
good.
money do you make before taxes?
I'm here.
Answer that question, please.
Timmy just got a nice little arb. Nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice little arb contract. I saw.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
arbitration?
Yeah, so I've one more year of that, and then I'll hopefully become a free agent, or we'll see what happens. But no, it's year to year for this year and next year, and then yeah,
And he's coming to
No.
the Orioles.
I was gonna say, you look good in orange.
yeah.
Well,
Those guys,
Drew will give you the hat. Drew will give you the hat.
I'll give you the hat. I'll take you out to breakfast. We can go to the Blackbird or whatever it was.
Oven bird.
Oven Bird. We'll get sweet potato fries and be like, "Sorry."
It'd be a whole thing.
Yeah.
The Blackbird. Take you to the Blackbird.
What? It sounds like a really bad porn name.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Really
Big Sam, good seeing you, man.
No, thanks. Yeah, good seeing you guys.
Tell
Hopefully
Darren.
we'll do this again.
Yeah, tell Darian and the boys hi.
Yeah, we'll do. So awesome. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll definitely do this again. So
Cool, man.
Thank you, buddy.
See you, buddy.
Yeah. All right. See you.
See you, boys.